So we're gonna read the introverts. It says, here's the 7 common attributes of introverts people. Prefer to relax alone. Yeah, I'd rather relax alone. Or with a few close friends. Only just like one friend. Consider only deep relationships as friends. I need the rest after outside activities, even ones we enjoy. Only listen but talk a lot about topics of importance to us. Appear calm, self-contained, and like to observe people and observe our surroundings. Tend to think before we speak or act. May prefer a quiet atmosphere. Experience our minds going blank in groups or under pressure. Don't like feeling rushed. Have a great powers of concentration. I just like small talk. Are territorial. Desire private space and time. Do you get that? We are territorial. Desire private space and time. And may treat their homes as the sanctuaries. I treat my home as a sanctuary. Prefer to work on own rather than with group, and may prefer written communication. Do not share private parts with many people. They don't need to know my thoughts. What is that? No. Hold on. Sorry. It says introverts may desire to meet people and get involved in the community, but we may lack the enterprise, the social stamina to take the extroverted path into a community. We may find ourselves floundering on the edges. When I was a college pastor, I found myself frequently giving advice to introverted college students who wished to build relationships in the community but did not know what steps to take. There is, of course, no set of formula that will apply to everyone or any substitute for spirit, but there are a few things we can do to help really build relationships and increase our level of participation in the community. Introverts persevered by channeling our social energies into shrewd and purposeful actions and relationships. One strategy is to make friends in high places instead of wearing ourselves out meeting different strangers in the pub every week. We can search out these people who are well connected in the community. These people may be pastors. Look for someone who is approachable and eager to meet new people. When we introduce ourselves to that person, preferably in a one-on-one setting, we can express our interest and our desire to meet others, and when we can allow them to network on our behalf and introduces us to others. After 9 months as a hospice chaplain, I have solid relationships with many of my patients, but still feel like an outsider in the office. I particularly wanted to develop friendships with the social workers, so I identified the one who was the heart of the group, a highly extroverted and approachable woman named Ellie. For several weeks, I made efforts to talk to Ellie when I saw her. I asked questions about her work and life, and I was generally interested in the answers. After a few conversations, I expressed a desire to meet some of the other social workers. She then proceeded to give me inroads with others and to include me in group conversations. Within 4 months, I was friends with several of them, far more at ease in the office and happier at work. Searching out mentors is another way introverts can develop meaningful relationships. All the introverts I know who have been truly successful in community life have mentors who have invested in them, encouraged them, and challenged them. Mentoring usually does not involve the exclusive other. Mentoring who can guide you in all aspects of personal and professional life, though we might be tempted to search for this person. Mentoring entails a variety of relationships with differing degrees of intensity. Over the years, I have found mentors who have helped me in various fields: discipleship, friendship, prayer, pastoring, and writing academics. Mentoring is helpful for introverts because it involves a specific, purposeful, and structured relationship. When introverts assume a role in the community, some of the obstacles toward a sense of belonging are used. A role potion, instead of being intimidated, can be empowering for introverts seeking to meet others and grow more comfortable. A role can give a sense of purpose and ownership in the community as we move from onlooker to participating. We can also give ourselves permission to be outgoing for a set of period of time as we're fulfilling our role. Depending on our interest and comfort level, one could join the audiovisual team, become a greeter for socially competent introverts, join a service team, a deacons team, or another specialized ministry of the church. For me, being the pastor or recognized leader in the community has made it far easier for me to meet people. This is true because I'm expected to reach out to others, and this motivates me, and people introduce themselves to me. While some introverts are attracted to smaller communities, others are drawn to the resources and ability of larger churches. However, the latter struggle when they want to communicate intimate relationships in their community because introverts develop connections through regular interaction with the same people over time. Joining a group is an effective way to find a sense of community we desire. For some of the traditional small group structure is desirable, but for others, small groups centered around building relationships feel strained. Introverts may find greater satisfaction in participating in groups that have more limited parameters and a focused goal. Consider participating in a task orderly committee, starting a writers group or a book club, or joining with people who are reaching out to the homeless or others who are on the outside of your surrounding communities. Pay attention to what you feel called to and find a group that fits your passions, contributions, and special skill set. Share your experiences and draw people together and fascinate conversation and organic relationships. Develop as you discover commonalities with others. My friend Susan says that nothing is as taxing to her as small talk. She compares it to a dance in which you step slowly through the trivial topics of the day, matching the rhythms of your conversation. Partners with news stories and what. When it comes to conversational grace, many introverts have 2 left feet. Our need to think before we speak shows the pace of our repartee, and by the time we have a contribution to make, the conversation may have already moved to the next topic. For some introverts, small talk is so uncomfortable that they consistently avoid social situations. I remember one man telling me that he would leave his church services every few minutes before they ended in order to avoid the agony of the fellowship hour. But the reality is that small talk is essential for building relationships. In small talk, we establish interconnections with others that we may wish to pursue further. So, I advise introverts to have a goal to their socializing instead of being bounced around the room like a social pinball. Approach people with a purpose. Learn the backgrounds of a few people who will be at your social event and engage them in a conversation about a shared interest, or more simply, just have a question to ask, a problem to solve, or a favor to request. For example, find someone who can help you with your career or with your golf swing, or someone who are particularly tormented by unstructured social events. Having a superscript helps ease the stress of small talk. Do some research on the day's news. Think of the questions you'd like to be asked. Rehearse open-ended conversation starters or interesting responses to relevant questions such as, what do you do? Common complaint I hear from friends and colleagues is that I don't let them into the inner workings of my mind and emotions. I process internally until I reach a verdict, and then I will present to them conclusions or decisions I arrived at. The problem is that the bonds of intimacy are built in the uncertainty, openness, and meaningless of our process. It's the process that we are most vulnerable, and if we allow others that we trust to see those parts of us, we find deep connection and infinity of each other. We allow others to participate in our decisions, and on the deepest level, we begin to share our lives with each other to have our hearts woven together. So I'm gonna Introverts are often misunderstood or mislabeled because their internal process generates a static, very sad on the outside. To counter that, consciously express yourself, smile, laugh, nod, shake your head, and make encouraging listen sounds. Oh, etc. Beware of the introverted stare, merely looking at the person talking with your head titled to the side without giving any feedback.